Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of this. Today, in the book review, I'm going to read you a Halloween story. Today's story is, I just haven't read it myself yet, so all excited. Should I tell you what it is? Have you hit that like button down there yet? Have you subscribed? You can subscribe to a playlist, but I recommend to the whole thing because sometimes I do stuff that don't show up on some playlists. But, if you like toys, toys. If you like books, books. If you like movies, movies. Anyways, today, the book is Halloween themed for the upcoming my favorite holiday, Halloween, Christmas. It's been a long day. Today, of course, I saw this and just had to pick it up today at Walmart. Disney's Dracula, featuring Mickey and Friends with 40 stickers. Just look at that cover and just don't think to yourself, that seems wildly inappropriate. The back. So now I'm going to read you the story of Dracula featuring Mickey and Friends with 40 stickers. And here's the stickers. I don't know what you're supposed to do with the stickers, but it doesn't look like 40 either. And forgive any background noise, my grandkids are outside and they are loud as hell. One gloomy night, Jonathan Micker, a young English lawyer, arrived in the remote land of Pepperlania. He had been sent to meet Count Dracula to sign important contracts. But when Jonathan asked the driver to take him to the front of the castle, he was left in the middle of the road. Hesitantly, Jonathan asked for directions, but the Pepperlanians, please forgive me if I'm mispronouncing that, angrily told him to go away. Finally, Jonathan spotted a lady sweeping in front of a little house. "Excuse me, madam, would you be so kind as to tell me where Count Dracula lives?" he asked. "We don't speak that name," she screamed. Jonathan realized that the Pepperlanians, were not friendly at all. Ooh, there's an interesting picture. In the middle of the night, Jonathan finally found the castle. It was dark and creepy, surrounded by a gloomy patch of red peppers and skeletal trees. The door opened, and a mysterious shadow appeared. "Welcome, Mr. Micker. I've been expecting you. Come in," a hoarse voice said. I can't do a hoarse voice, so give me a sore throat. You get the point. Ooh. Forgive me if the camera's not zooming in. The light is right behind me. Despite his creepy appearance, Count Dracula was actually the kindest Pepperlonian Jonathan had met. However, he was strongly fond of red peppers. "Help yourself, my peppers are so juicy," the Count said, offering some to Jonathan, who politely declined. Dracula took out his pen and started signing. Jonathan asked Count Dracula if he was planning on moving to London. "Yes, people there are so much naiver than the people here," the Count answered with a sinister smile. Ooh, sinister. When all the contracts were signed, Jonathan stood up to exit. Dracula stopped him, putting a bowl of boiling soup under his nose. It was red and smelled of pepper, old shoes, moldy closets, and mud. "I'm sorry, I'd love to taste your soup, but I must get back to my fiancée, Minnie, in London," Jonathan said. He showed the Count a nice portrait of Minnie Mouse and her best friend, Daisy Westenduck. Well, that's not good. When Jonathan told him that Daisy loved red peppers, Dracula's eyes sparkled in a scary way. "I must go now," Jonathan said, trying to exit again, but the Count stopped him. "You'll stay until you have eaten my soup," he ordered, locking Jonathan inside a bedroom with only red pajamas. Jonathan was trapped. One day Jonathan was thinking about escaping when something outside caught his eye. The Count seemed to be preparing to leave for London, loading his coach with huge crates full of soil and red peppers. Jonathan had a feeling that Dracula was up to no good. However, his escape would be easier once the Count was gone. Dracula left that evening without saying a word. From the window, Jonathan watched him drive away. He unlocked the door with a soup spoon and ran away as fast as he could. Meanwhile, the Count was on his way to London, planning to visit Daisy Westerduck. A few nights later, Minnie was having dinner with Daisy. Mr. Arthur Duckwood and Quincy Goofies at Duckwood's house. Everyone was worried about Minnie since her fiancé Jonathan had disappeared. During dinner, Daisy was behaving strangely. Earlier that day, she had brought red peppers to the kitchen and insisted that the cook, Mrs. Duckfield, make a strange red soup with them. Now Daisy was slurping it greedily. "What's wrong with her?" Arthur whispered to Minnie. "That broth smells like stinky feet." Minnie didn't know what had happened to her friend. When she turned to comfort her, Daisy was exiting the room, holding a spoon. "Daisy, where are you going?" Minnie shouted, but her friend didn't answer. Unfortunately, a horrible surprise awaited them in the garden. Daisy was standing next to a dark figure they didn't recognize. The figure whispered something to Daisy and gave her another pot of disgusting red soup. When Daisy turned towards her, her eyes looked like glowing red peppers. "Who are you?" Minnie asked. Instead of answering, the Count bared his sparkling fangs and then, swoosh, turned into a bat and flew away. Daisy didn't notice him, seemingly hypnotized by her soup. Arthur called Dr. Horswood, who specialized in impossible cases. Daisy kept repeating the strange list of ingredients for the stinky soup. A few minutes after Minnie put Daisy to bed, Arthur and Goofies came in with Dr. Horswood. The doctor wore a huge garlic collar around his neck. "Don't cover your nose. The smell will save you and your friend," said the doctor. Horswood checked Daisy's pepper-shaped eyes and pulled out a photo of Count Dracula. "This creature is Count Dracula, and he hypnotized Daisy with his red pepper soup. We can't do anything but prevent him from returning and taking her with him," the doctor explained. Suddenly, Jonathan burst into the room. "I was his prisoner for weeks, but never ate his soup. That's how I managed to escape," he said. "I think Dracula has an obsession with peppers. We have to stop him before he hypnotizes everybody with his stinky soup." The doctor explained that Dracula was actually a vampire that could transform into a bat. "He probably flew into Daisy's room last night and hypnotized her to be obsessed with his soup," he said. He also explained that only garlic could keep vampires away. "It's the only thing that neutralizes Dracula's powers," the doctor added. Once the room was full of garlic, they devised a plan. "I still have the address of the house the Count brought here. Maybe we'll find him at one of them," Jonathan said. "Then we'll cover him in garlic, destroy his powers, and send him back to Pepperlania," the doctor explained. They all agreed on the plan. Mrs. Duckfield promised to look after Minnie and Daisy during the absence. Unfortunately, their journey wasn't successful. When they reached the first house at 78 Crimson Road, they saw that Dracula had turned it into a giant pepper. The same moment at 33 Magenta Lane. The same happened at 33 Magenta Lane, Then Jonathan spotted all the peppers and soil the Count had brought with him. "Only those peppers can make the red soup. Without them, the Count won't be able to hypnotize anyone," Horswood said. Back at the villa, Bat Dracula approached Daisy's window. "Nothing will stop me this time," he said. Suddenly, a strong, garlicky fragrance assaulted him, leaving him gasping. "Garlic, I hate this smell," he screamed as he transformed back into the Count. Dracula was still determined to reach Daisy and hypnotize Minnie. When he entered the kitchen, he bumped into Mrs. Duckfield. "Excuse me, who let you in?" she scolded. Dracula was speechless. His hesitation gave her the chance to quickly wrap him in a long garlic chain. "Yikes," he cried. "Not fair." Upstairs, Minnie noticed that Daisy's eyes didn't look like peppers anymore. "Where am I? What's that horrendous smell?" Daisy asked, irritated. "It's the red soup you love so much. Would you like a spoonful?" Minnie asked. She was relieved when Daisy refused it. Dracula's curse had been lifted. Garlic had saved them. Meanwhile, Jonathan, Arthur, Goofies, and the doctor hurried back to the house. They hadn't found Dracula and were worried about Minnie and Daisy. Horsewood was sure Dracula would return to take Daisy. "Faster, faster," Goofy shouted to the horse, and everyone held on tightly. Luckily, the heroes reached Arthur's house very quickly. They were surprised to see the ladies had captured the Count. They were celebrating with tea and sandwiches. As the doctor congratulated them, Arthur hugged Daisy. "Promise me you're never going to eat red soup again," he told her. "Don't worry. I prefer Miss Duckfield's garlic sandwiches," Daisy answered. Garlic sandwiches. I think she stuck with the red soup. Dracula wanted to know more about Dracula's intentions. Jonathan, yeah. "That's simple," the Count answered. "I wanted to hypnotize everyone. If my plan had worked, the whole country would have been under my control. You ruined everything," he explained. Horsewood took garlic flowers from his bag and sprinkled them on Dracula's head, making him sneeze. "My powers!" the Count screamed. "All this garlic will block your powers for a long time," the doctor said. Then he drove the Count back to his castle. A few days later, Jonathan and Minnie began writing a book about Dracula. Daisy continued eating garlic. Mrs. Duckfield had discovered a new love for garlic and was studying lots of yummy recipes that would keep vampires away for a very long time. The end. An interesting book. Never explained what, a vampire was doing with red peppers, but, whatever. And I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for listening and watching, and y'all have a nice day. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Double D out. And also visit your local library for more books based on Halloween.